Hello and welcome back to Towing Industry Insiders. Today I want to cover light duty field operations. Okay, so in this field you have a light duty operator that is a wrecker and or a flatbed. They have the same key components but different at the same time. A wrecker, you have a situation that has a dolly setup. In a flatbed you don't have dollies. So the equipment in the vehicles are pretty much the same. You're going to have a torque wrench and or a four-way, a jack, an impact if you buy one, a jump pack, a lockout kit, blocks of wood, skates, ball joint skates, whatever. You're going to have to figure out what needs to be done, what has to be done, so every equipment's going to be in there just as much as your flatbed has. Now, if you get into the wrecker stance, it's a little bit more difficult. It's a little bit more time consuming to figure out how to operate that vehicle to 100%. A lot of times you will get stuck with a wrecker that has L-arms or spoons which grip the tire to your underreach. If you're in a more sophisticated company, you might have an autoloader. Now with the autoloader, you have your choice of your handles you can do, or you can do it with a remote. With the beds, you have different types of winch cables. You can have a twin winch or a single winch. Now, it's the same concept of a flatbed when you're winching up a vehicle. This is just for pretty much recoveries with the wreckers more than the flatbeds. Flatbeds have more of a chance of you using your winch cable to recover the vehicle plus pull the vehicle up on your bed. Now, with all the equipment that is loaded into these trucks, some companies will provide you with the jump pack and the lockout kit. Some companies will not. So you will have to look into that before you do that. Now, my preference would be an impact wrench, because an impact is a lot quicker, so you can get the person that is on the side of the road done with the tire change and onto the road quicker than ever. Now, flatbeds. This is where I come into play because I was a flatbed operator for a long time. 3 different companies I've worked for, I drove a flatbed in. And I can actually tell you that I love the flatbeds more than I do the wreckers. Flatbeds have the same tools except for the dolly setup. Now you can request a dolly setup, but 9 times out of 10 when you go out to a scene and you have to pick up more than one car, the all-wheel drive vehicles always go on the bed because you don't have a dolly setup. Now there are some different types of tools that are on a flatbed that are more likely going to be used in that instance than it will in a wrecker. I'm not saying your wrecker's not going to be equipped with them, but you're going to look into snatch blocks. Snatch blocks can be a hook at the end with a pulley system, or it could be a chain tail with a pulley system. Now, if it's a chain tail, 9 times out of 10 it's on your flatbed. So what that does is it's for your angles pretty much. So you can get the vehicle straight on the bed instead of it being crooked on your bed. So you want to be more professional with the situation. You don't want to be running onto a scene, loading a vehicle up on your flatbed that's up on the rails if you have them, or hanging off the bed, so on and so forth. In the vehicles, you're also going to be equipped with crash wrap. Now, crash wrap is one of the best tools. I can't really say it's a tool, piece of equipment that you can have on your vehicle, because if the window's broken in an accident or there's damaged parts that are falling off, you can crash wrap those pieces to the vehicle so they stay secured to the vehicle. Now, if you have a busted window or somebody takes a key from a scene and you have no way to unlocking the vehicle to roll up that window, use the crash wrap for that window. It protects the inside of the vehicle for that customer, so that customer doesn't have a wet seat when they come and pick up the vehicle out of your impound yard, if it is drivable. Now, There's more difficulties to some of the equipment that you have, such as ball joint skates. A lot of times with a ball joint skate, you have to take the tire off in order to use the ball joint skate properly to get the vehicle on your bed. What I usually did was I took the vehicle, I put the ball joint skate under it, I took the tire off, I placed the tire up on the bed towards my headache rack, and I tied it down with a strap. Then I pulled the vehicle up, secured the vehicle, and got on my way. Now there are multiple ways to doing it on a flatbed for the tie downs. You have an 8-point tie down, you have chains and binders, you have D-ring straps, which are pretty much called an endless loop strap. I like those a lot for more high-end cars and vehicles that have more damage to them to where you cannot get around the wheel fully, so the D-ring strap comes in handy. Now with those straps is you want to have the straps completely 100% secured to your vehicle. Now when I did it, I always made sure that the vehicle was not going to move. I can make my corners perfectly. I can stop and go without the vehicle moving, shifting, or anything like that. So that was my securement. Now, a lot of companies will tell you that you're going to need to go through their training course. Don't be offended by that at all. Whether you are brand new to the towing industry or you are what you think is a professionalism. Now, if you are up in the professionalism part, don't be offended by it at all, because this company is telling you the ways that they want you to do it by their book. Whether it's a company that's been around for multiple years or a company that just started, everybody's got their own way of doing it. So just sit back and listen to anybody who says it, because they're more intrigued and interested in you learning how they do it the proper way. There are multiple courses that you can go through for safety training and other stuff like that. When I was at the last company I was with, I was pretty much the Tesla person. I did tire changes, I did tows, I did jump starts, I did everything for Tesla because I knew how to do it. They threw me a book, told me to read it. I read all the way through, cover to cover, and I learned that knowledge of it. So I was focused on that more than anything else, but that didn't take me away from doing recoveries. My boss at the time would call me middle of the night, hey, we have a trailer that's rolled over in the intersection of this place, I need you here now. I would get dressed, get in my truck, and I would go. I wasn't one of these towing operators that worked a 9 to 5. I was a person in the towing industry that worked at 24 hours on the clock and off the clock. Doesn't matter what it was. If somebody needed some help, I was there, even if I was off. I would go and do what I needed to do to provide for my company. That's the main key of it. You want to show your boss, your owner, your manager, you want him to know that you are there to work, that you want to progress from where you are to where you are further in the company. So like me, for instance, I was a light duty operator for 10 years. I wanted to get into the heavy duty operations. I took my course for my Class A CDLs. Well, I didn't finish it because I was running out of money and I needed a job quick. So I ended up stopping what I was doing and I focused on my job. I focused on my bills and everything like that. Now, some companies will provide you with the course to take action for a Class A CDL. If you are willing to improve in there and you show them that you are willing to improve the company by helping them more and more into that field, you will be able to take the next step. Now, the last company I was with, when I first started, the owner-operator pretty much took me under his wing. He showed me the ropes on a heavy duty recoveries and everything like that, which I was very grateful for, because he didn't need to show me that because I wasn't in that field. I was a light duty operator. I stuck to my light duty fields. But he told me that he wants me to learn more into the company so that I can get my knowledge up there and eventually work my way up to the heavy duty field. The light duty field, don't feel threatened by it. Ask questions. Don't try to figure it out on your own. If you can't figure it out, call your boss, call another employee, see if they're close to you to come out, give you a hand, explain it to you a little bit more so you can get that scene cleaned up. Accidents. Those are big ones because you are not just dealing with the customers, but you are also dealing with the police officers. Now, the police officers, they are there to get you there, get it cleaned up, and get the highways cleaned up so that traffic can flow. A lot of times you'll deal with some cops that aren't in the happiest mood and they try to rush you. Other times they're going to block away an area so you can get your job done so they can open up it and get the traffic flowing again. If you are patient with police officers and your employees, your boss, your owner of the company, everything like that, they will take in consideration of everything. They're going to force you, well, not going to force you, they're going to teach you their ways of getting everything done quicker. There's been multiple times that I've had calls to where I've had to call my boss. Hey, I'm having a little bit of a difficulty here. The one company I worked for, first truck I ever drove for that company was a T270 Kenworth. It was a flatbed with air brakes and air suspension. I loved that truck. Had a side winch puller and everything so that I could hook a vehicle up on the side and with my regular winch cable and a snatch block, and I can pull that vehicle towards my truck. Once then I got into that, I ended up getting upgraded to a Peterbilt. Loved my Peterbilt. That was my baby. It was my office. It was my home away from home, and I treated that thing like it was pure solid gold. In the light duty field, what you want to key factor in on that is you're not doing this just for the company. You're doing this for you as an operator and for the customers that are getting in and out of your vehicle. You want your truck to be organized. You want your truck to be clean. You want your truck to be respected in every aspect. This is where a lot of companies look into. Some companies will tell you, if you get reviews, if you do this, if you keep your truck clean, then you're going to have a better chance at getting higher up in the field. Now, the last company I was with, I kept my trucks clean. That was my main goal because it was like I said, it was my office. That was where I was at 24/7. I would go home, I would eat dinner, take a shower, I would get back in my truck. I would go and do my calls that I got called out. So keep organized so where you know where everything is, and keep clean. Cleanliness is the best friend in the industry. If you have a messy wrecker, if you have a messy flatbed, then it's going to reflect on how you live, how you are, and how these customers are going to reflect on the company. You don't want that. You want to focus on your cleanliness of your truck so that that customer can come in and feel comfortable in your vehicle. No loud music, no silence at all. Talk to the customer. It's just another person in this world. They're having a hard day. Say you're having a hard day. You guys can swap your stories and everything like that. You can make a friend out of that. Somebody that's going to call the company and say, hey, look, this tow truck operator that I had was one of the best operators that I've ever met. Me and him had a conversation, and it was just the best ride for the life. That's where you want to be. You want to be respectful to your customers. You want to offer them everything. If you are in an incident to where they break down on the side of the road and it's raining out, tell them, go to the passenger side of the vehicle, tell them, hey, my truck's unlocked, the heat's on, the AC's on, whatever it is, go sit in my truck to where you're safe. I will load up the vehicle and we will get on the way. That is the number one thing. Keep your customer happy. Happy customer means happy company. Another thing is, with the industry, there are going to be times to where it's going to be difficult for you. It's going to be hard for you. You're going to have your off days. You're going to have your bad days. So is everybody else in the company. Don't take any offense to nothing said. You are there to work. You are there to provide for the company and yourself. Your dispatchers, they're not just employees. Those are the people that are going to give you the calls. If you get a call saying, hey, I need you to go to this place, and you cop an attitude with that dispatcher's going to pull you off of that call. Call the boss, tell him what's going on, and most likely you're going to get in trouble for it. So be respectful to your dispatchers. Those are the people that are giving you your calls. If you want to provide leadership in this field, continue with the respect. It will take you so far. Don't just think about it as a 9-to-5 job. Think about it as a career. When I was in this job, it was a passion of mine. I loved the industry. I loved the trucks. I loved the equipment, everything that goes around it. The atmosphere is amazing. You're outside in crucial weathering sometime. Yes, you have your snow, you have your rain, you have your hot heat. But make sure that you have everything that you need for that day. If it's in the middle of winter, make sure you have a bag in your truck that has extra clothes in it in case if you get wet or you have to step into something and your socks get wet and damp and everything like that. We don't want you to get sick in the company. That's the whole thing. That's what they're going to tell you. We need you. So I always had a bag with me with 2 or 3 pairs of socks, a change of shoes. I always had 3 or 4 pairs of shirts, pants, shorts, etc. Just something to keep me occupied throughout the time being. Your uniforms, that is the number one thing too. That is the key thing to your professionalism. Wear your uniform. It shows your company name, it shows your name, and it shows professionalism. I just wanted to say, just do your best and ask questions. That's going to get you far also. If you run into a problem, call your boss, call an employee. Don't hesitate on that stuff. Don't discourage yourself. Asking for help is not the worst thing in the world. It actually helps you a little bit better because it not only helps the company out, but it also helps your knowledge of everything. So with that being said, just remember, stay hooked and stay informed. Have a good day.